Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. This is gonna be the blue Zerg here, spawning at the bottom right corner of the map. He is from the team of Kaizi Gaming. Give it up for Solar. And here, spawning at the top left corner of the map, he's the red Terran player, hailing from Korea, and also representing a kind of a new team in Good Game Gaming. Give it up for Dream. Alright, and off the bat, we have ourselves a little bit of a cheese here. Unfortunately for him, Solar is going to send his Overlord exactly to the exact proxy spot. We'll scout this relatively quickly. Now, will he send some drones? Looks like, yeah, he is going to send. So he's going to send 3 drones, and of course 2 drones will be focusing on the 2 SCVs, and you're just going to add in an extra drone because SCVs do have a little bit more life. But nicely tucked there. Will be able to complete one of the barracks. Now, will he be able to complete the second barracks? It looks like he will be able to. That SCV is in pretty low life. More drones being pulled, by the way. And of course, this does slow down the bunker placement a little bit. So I think it's a pretty good start for Solar, but it is not over yet. The Marines are in production. But luckily for Solar, his spawning pool is just finished. That will allow him to make some lings here. Dream attempting to throw down a bunker, but I just don't see it gonna be up, as the lings are on the way, as well as the Queen. And all that is left is this one SCV. So if he Solar just focus fire on the SCV, he should be able to deny it. But actually gonna go ahead and get a surround here on these Marines, forcing Dream to micro them back. And the SCV just dying right now, so this bunker is a no-go. Dream is gonna have to forfeit this proxy, or he's gonna go ahead and further commit here. I'm not sure why he's doing so, because there's just no way that Solar is going to go ahead and let that get up. So now Solar is in a pretty good shape here. Dream will go ahead and try to transition out of this, but he is going to be a little bit quite behind. He is going to throw down his command center down in the natural, but I mean, imagine if Solar just ran his links across. That command center would have been shut down. But anyhow, these Marines are going to go ahead and try to keep Solar busy. Actually, Solar's a bit scared here. Want to be a bit extra safe, throwing down a spine crawler just for good measure. And I mean, I'm not mad at it, but I feel like if you held that proxy the way he did, as well as you could have asked for, I don't think he needed that spine crawler. I think he should have just kind of bypassed the spine crawler, use that drone to mine, because right now he has enough queens, he has enough lings. The thing is, that was only a 2 racks, it wasn't a 3 racks. Maybe it was a 3-4 racks. Probably I would suggest look at me suggesting to Solar like I'm some pro player. But anyhow, you get the idea. Basically, I would have encouraged Solar to let that spine crawler finish if he did spot 3 racks or a 4th racks. But only seeing 2 racks and being able to hold that defense pretty well, I think he didn't really need that spine crawler. But it's just a small commitment, a small sacrifice, just a 1 drone. So not too game ending or anything, not too game shattering. Anyhow, Roach Warren will be thrown down here, and of course, because Dream did go for that proxy, that means he's going to be a little bit behind on the tech side. And that's mainly because, you know, he didn't get that early tech lab, so the stim is going to be a bit late. And then on top of that, his CC and the second CC was a bit later than usual. So he's not going to have the resources to get the tech and the production as early as if it was a regular game here, a regular opening. But anyhow, a nice little find here by these speedlings. We'll get 4 SCVs. That's going to force the Hellions to come back to help defend. Looks like these Hellions will push the Lings all the way back. There was a medevac of some sort. I must have missed a drop or something. Let me go ahead and make sure. Huh, actually this medevac was empty, I believe. Yeah. Because the first few Lings there were basically taken down in the early game. There's not anything else that was lost, so I guess that was kind of a fake out. Well, actually, never mind. Looks like it was for the 4 Hellion drop, but there was Overlords to spot this, and he's going to need it back at home as there is a pressure push here by Solar. He's got a lot of Lings, a lot of Roach and Ravagers. Some nice bunker going up, but is it enough? I think it might be barely. Oh, wow. Wow, Solar just gonna go ahead GG here. I mean, the worker count was even, so not the best, I guess, the best position to be in. But I feel like he could have still carried that game on. I mean, it would have definitely been the uphill battle, but oh, interesting. All right, I guess looks like Dream will take a game at number 1 here. We'll go up a 1-0, and looks like it's gonna be Solar's map of pick. Alright, looks like it's going to be on Romanticide. Let's go ahead and get that up and running. Alright, we're about to head into game number 2 on Romanticide. Now, you know, in situations like this where you get proxied, 2 Rex proxied at the Zerg, there's really kind of 2 ways you want to follow up with it, generally. Either you want to go ahead and go for a timing push right afterward to punish the Terran player for going for a cheese. Or you can go ahead and macro up like crazy behind it. Because you really don't have any... Like, you know the Terran player is not going to have a lot of ways to kind of put on pressure on you or go for an aggressive attack because, you know, he kind of committed to the cheese. But anyhow, let's go ahead and introduce our lovely players. Here on the bottom right here corner of the map is the blue Zerg player playing for Kaizi Gaming. Give it up for Solar. And our lovely red Terran here, feeling a little cheeky today. Once again, going for that little cheese. It is Dream. And once more, going for that double racks. Now, the one thing about Solar is that I feel like he is a pretty good macro player. The thing is, I feel like he also struggles in the early game cheeses, specifically against Terran. So, if there was a strategy to kind of go against Solar, it's probably for early game cheeses, and that's exactly what Dream is going for once again here on game number 2. Now, let's see if he does follow up relatively better compared to the last game, because the last game he did defend quite well. I don't think he didn't really lose too much. Probably shouldn't have gone for the spine crawler, but that's, I mean, other than that, I think he held pretty well. Just that the follow-up didn't work, as Dream was able to get those bunkers up, was able to clean up the rest. Still was a close game. It wasn't a lost cause there for Solar. He could have continued into the game. Decided to GG out. So let's see how this goes. Already, you know, similar to the last game, like, Solar isn't really suffering too much. Has got canceled on those bunkers there. So once again, delaying the bunkers. All right, gets a snipe on one of the SCVs. Now you just need one more SCV to snipe down. And so far, so good. Yeah, pretty much a near perfect defense here, or I guess as perfect as you can ask for. Right now, he is though forcing a lot of links, so Solar is not in the clear yet. Once again, going for that spine crawler. Now, did he scout how many racks here? Nope, did not scout. So I guess this kind of warrants it. But this time around, I think he feels safe, similar to last game. So this time around actually does cancel it. So good job there by Solar. Now he is getting a really much quicker speed than the last game. So if Dream is not too careful, I mean, these links can just go across the map. Maybe he probably wants to keep at home for the time being, as he is trying to still defend this group of Marines. But if a Dream does not place a bunker on his natural, then this could spell trouble for our Red Terran. So far, though, he is dwindling the link count enough so that he doesn't have to worry too much. He does got the factory back at home as well, so making those Hellions, he should be fine back at home. But all these Marines are going to go down, and so these Hellions are going to be pretty important here for Dream to hold off and defend his natural for the time being. Now, for Solar, though, he is probably want to get his third base, which it looks like he is about to get, and wants to go ahead and probably drone up like a crazy. He does get a good scout. Knows that really the only thing that is headed his way is probably Hellions, and really pretty much all you need to defend against Hellions are queens. He's already got 2 queens. He got more queens on the way in the production tab, so he should be, in theory, fine against these Hellions that are making his way across the map and knocking on the front door. I gotta say, it's a little bit ballsy here for Dream to kind of move out with these Hellions out in the field, knowing that all his Marines were killed. Because Solar can easily just move his links across the map and do a kind of a backdoor stab. Right now, there's not a lot here to defend in the natural, so a little bit of a risky play, kind of banking on the fact that Solar is going to be playing a bit defensive, going to keep his links back at home. His gamble, of course, does pays off, as Solar didn't really go for any counterattack of some sort. But also, you know, he doesn't have an Overlord here on the cliff, so he doesn't have any idea when the Hellions are out on the field, or when the Hellions are moving out. So that's kind of a bit, you know, unfortunate here for Solar. I'm sure he wants a Overlord parked there just to know, so that he can know where to position his links, whether to stay at home or whether to go for a backdoor stab. But anyhow, we do see the Baneling Nest being thrown down here for Solar. So I'm guessing it's going to be a kind of a Spire follow-up, or maybe a Hydralisk follow-up. Let's see how many gases does he has. Currently, actually, let's go ahead and just take a look here quickly about the units lost tab. 2 drones, 27 lings versus 2 SCVs and 13 Marines. But anyhow, we do see 4 gases. Do we have 6 gases? Yes, we do have 6 gases. So, yeah, definitely a good sign of a Spire play. So, definitely gonna see some Baneling Mutalisk army composition coming out of our blue Zerg here. In the meantime, Dream, he is looking to go into bio play, it seems like. He's getting combat shield, getting the +1/1. In the meantime, though, he is going to go ahead and try to harass here into the third base with a group of Marines, as well as a Liberator and some Widow Mines. But Solar cleaning that up relatively easily with no problem. Looking for some damage, but just not able to, as Solar with some nice defensive plays. Got the Spore Caller, so he kind of zoned the Medevac out as well. And he has more than enough units to defend. The problem here is that he does not have his unit split, so he's kind of loses a queen for it. But yeah, he needs to split his army down to the third base as well as the main base, because the thing about Medevacs, they're annoying that way. They can just ferry up and down here. But all in all, generally, nothing too damaging. Doesn't really suffer too much. Only 1 queen mainly going down, which is just 150 minerals. In the meantime, we do see a bunch of Mutalisks on the production tab. We should see them flying across the map, or if they wanted to, they can go ahead and try to find and snipe off those Medevac drops. Once again, Dream going for that Widow Mine drop. Not finding too much damage, but the real scary attack is this Hellbat push. But boy, I'm looking at it, it's pretty small pretty small army here. I don't think Solar's gonna find much trouble defending against this. Anyhow, he's still defending the Widow Mine drop here with these Mutalisks. But yeah, the Mutalisk tech has been revealed. So you see Dream, he's throwing down a bunch of turrets here onto his main bases. None quite acting natural. Alright, the Gleam has kind of slowed down. Solar being a bit passive here, I feel like. I would love for him to kind of just go across the map. I mean, I think he has more than enough units to at least shut down this 4th base. This 4th base is quite wide open. There's not a lot of turrets here. There's a sensor tower coming up here, but not a lot of turrets for the Mutalisk, and there's a lot of Banelings with centrifugal hooks as well, so I wouldn't mind seeing Solar just moving across the map with his entire army. But oh no, that was some really well hidden Widow Mine there. Gets some really nice connections, takes down a bunch of Mutalisks, as well as lowering the life of a lot of them into the orange health bars. That was some really nice connections there. It always feels good when you can get some Widow Mine connections on those Mutalisks. Solar's definitely going to have to be a bit careful. There is a 2-prong attack. Dream attacking to the right side as well into the left side. Nice. Once again, a nice Widow Mine connection there. But Solar's going to go ahead and chase this down. Make sure to clean this up once and for all, so that all he has really to worry about is that left side. There is another group here coming down to the right side once more. It's going to be really important for Solar to split his army here. And it's going to be really important for him to get those nice Widow Mine connections, not Widow Mine, Baneling connections. Because right now, Dream is enjoying a 2-2 versus a 1-1 upgrade lead. So his bio army is a bit stronger. compared to the Zerg. But again, it's really going to come down to these Bailey connections. Now, the thing about where Solar is right now, he does have a lot of creep spread going through the middle, but unfortunately, Dream is kind of cleaning that up right now. But the thing that worries me is that there's not a lot of creep here onto the bottom and the top side, which means that if Dream wanted to go for some two-pronged attacks down into Solar bases, he's going to be a little bit out of vision, as well as not have a lot of creep for these Lings and Bailings. Alright, so looks like Dream will get some nice efficient trades here. But he's got another force coming here down in the bottom here. Nice though, nice Bailey connections onto the front lines, but there's still a lot over. It's always a very difficult situation where you gotta allocate enough units to the each of the attacking areas. Things are just not looking quite well for our blue Zerg, as he is fighting against a 3-3 army now. He does have his 2-2, but against 3-3 army, that is a tough call, especially since you're way behind, about like 40 army supply behind the Terran player. And again, nice little spread there, pre-spread by the red Terran, and Solar goes down once again to Dream. And Dream will take a 2-0 lead. Once again, Solar defending the cheese well, but just not being able to transition well. Was a bit passive, by the way. I think, you know, Dream getting that early fourth base, the early third base, considering that he started off the game cheesing. Just not a good sign for Solar here. Let's see if he has a better luck here on game number 3. Game number 3 will be taking place on Lightshade LE, so hopefully there is some light at the end of the tunnel for Solar. By the way, guys, there is a Matcherino page for this event. If you head on to the chat box area, the Matcherino link is pinned at the top. So head on over there, enter the coupon code AX223, and that will add 50 cents to the overall prize pool. Of course, you can also do the sponsor quest onto the right side. That will help out a bit more. And if you do want to get the replays for this event, you can do so as well in the marketplace. So check out our Matcherino, enter those coupon codes, help out the players, increase the overall prize pool. Anyhow, let's go ahead and introduce our players here. On the top left corner of the map, here's the blue Zerg player representing Kaizi Gaming. It is Solar. And spawning here at the bottom right, he is the red Terran player, relentless with those cheeses and playing for good game gaming. Give it up for Dream. Oh boy, has yet to scout the proxy 2-racks. This might be a little bit scary for our Zerg player. Now, he does have the Overlords parked out in the front, so he is going to have some, at least some indication that there is some cheeses going on. But the drone pool will be a bit late, or later compared to the previous games. But just got to make sure not to get these bunkers up and running. I try to delay it as much as possible, but the first Marines are already out here. Solar building down a lot of drones here, making sure that Dream does not place those bunkers, and so far it is is working out pretty well. So buying the time enough, buying necessary time for him to get those lings and queens up. Always a moment of tenseness when this occurs here. But yeah, once again, delaying the bunker, and looks like Solar just not quite having enough links to clean this up, but not focus firing on the SCV. Now he does. Oh, that SCV is so low and like down to 2 life. But with that a second additional queen, I think he should be fine. If he can just, yep, he does. But there is another SCV that has been pulled here by Dream. So this bunker is actually going to go up, but a lot. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. A lot of early GGs here coming out of Solar. Once again, I'm not sure if he needed to GG out. I mean, there's only one bunker. I mean, I'm sure he could have, you know, make some additional lings. I mean, of course, it would have been a much efficient trade for Dream, but it's not like completely undoable. But I guess Solar, his kind of his confidence going down a little bit. Now down 0-3. He's gonna definitely start needing to get some wins here to start the comeback, because you definitely don't want to go down 0-4 in a best of 9 series. I mean, that means you got to win 5 straight games, and that is a tall order, guys. Winning 5 games in a row to clinch a series, that is a lot to ask. Anyhow, spawn here at the top right corner of the map is the blue Zerg, looking to get his first point on the scoreboard. It is from Kaiji Gaming, Solar. And here, in the bottom left corner of the map, enjoying a very comfortable 3-0 lead. Can he make it 4-0? Make some noise for Dream. As I was saying earlier in the cast, Solar not the greatest. Doesn't have a great track record in shutting down early cheeses. He did okay, pretty well actually in the first 2 games, but I guess he's still having trouble kind of transitioning out of it. The last game though, wasn't able to scout it. Wasn't able to defend it quite as well. And as you saw, a very early GG coming out of Solar. This time around though, Dream has decided not to proxy. I mean, I guess, you know, there's a saying, of course, you know, don't if it works, if his name broke, don't fix it. So I wouldn't actually mind this for Dream to kind of once again go for that proxy 2 racks. I mean, it has worked out very well for him in the past 3 games. But this time, kind of changing it up. And in the best of 9 series, in a long series like this, it's always good to kind of change things up. You don't want to go for completely the same thing. Kind of keep your opponent off their toes. I'm sure, like, from the first 3 games, Solar, it was a bit, you know, it's a bit wary that there might be a proxy out there, but actually there's not. Dream is going to go ahead and go for a standard opening here, but actually looks like Solar opening with an early pool to combat the cheese. That's going to allow him to make 6 lings to just go across the map and delay the CC here. But with the SCV pool and the Marine, he should be fine. I don't think he's actually lost too much SCV as well. Now the Reaper did get 2 drones here, so actually this does go favorably, more favorably towards a Dream once again. Ooh, that Reaper's like clinging to the edge of death here. Does barely save it. But as you can see, Dream feeling confident enough to throw down a quick third base. Going a bit greedy. I mean, he did defend the early Ling attack with relatively little losses. Only losing 1 SCV. And then on the other side, he did get 2 drones as well. So things looking up for the Red Terran. But he shouldn't be counting his eggs in the basket as Solar throwing down a Roach Warren. Now, this Roach Warren could either be to help defend against the Hellions, or it could signal a kind of a Roach Ling timing push that he did attempt in the first game around. If you remember, in the first game, he did follow up with a Roach Ling Ravager timing attack. Didn't quite work out for him, but Solar hoping that it will work out better this time around. He is going to go ahead and try to get something with these Speedlings, but with these Hellions, going to go ahead and, well, actually, he's going to completely just clean up these Lings. So kind of basically donating Lings to Dream here. That's not good. That ain't good. Yeah, this is I feel like this is going to be kind of deja vu in terms of in the first game. This time around, there's going to be even less Lings, as those pack of Lings were cleaned up earlier on, and now there's only just a few Roaches and Ravagers. And this time around, Dream has bought himself enough time to get even the Banshee out. And unfortunately for these Lings and Roaches, they don't attack up into the air, but does he have enough in the ground to at least do significant damage before he gets his army cleaned up? Let's see here. At the very least, he should be able to get some SCVs, but he's going to have to do a lot of damage with this. This is still a 3 command center Terran versus a 3 base Zerg with relatively little workers. And once again, has to GG out. This attack seems promising. He did get 15 workers, but remember, Dream is going to have 3 CCs, got the extra mules, and the worker count ended up even at the end. And you don't want to be even in workers. You want to be really, really ahead in terms of the worker count when you go for that attack, because you're committing a lot of larva and resources into that attack. So coming out even in terms of workers is not what you want as a Zerg at that scenario. So Solar once again just not being able to crack Dream here. Dream is just kind of dominating Solar now. He's on the back foot. He needs to get a 5-0 reverse all kill in order to have to win this series. Now, crazier things has happened. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, just not as common. So we'll see. We'll see if Solar has it in him to turn this series around somehow, some way. But we will potentially have our last game here on Oxide LE. Let's see how this game goes. Here, spawning at the top right corner of the map. He is the blue Zerg player, representing Kaizi Gaming. It is Solar. And here at the bottom left corner of the map, it is the red Terran player, playing for Good Game Gaming. Make some noise for Dream. So guys, I think Solar is going to need your energy, because right now he is not looking in great shape. And we're not talking about like a series right now where Solar is dealing with the same things. Yeah, the first 3 games started off with cheeses, proxy 2 Rex cheeses from a Dream, but this last game opened up standard. Pretty standard. So, I mean, all 4 games not going in favor of Solar. He's definitely going to need to change something up. But anyhow, once again, we're going to have ourselves a pretty normal opening here. So, nothing too crazy. Now this map on Oxide is a pretty wide open map, so I could definitely see a lot of drop plays, a lot of multi-prong attacks coming out of Dream, and I feel like that's when Dream is playing at his best. It's when he is the one that's aggressive and kind of dictating the pace of the game and keeping the opponent on his toes. Alright, Reaper, we'll go ahead and dive in here onto the main, not the main base, I'm sorry, the natural base here. Not quite getting anything done here. Oh, did he get his Reaper stuck here? Okay, no, he's just gonna go ahead and slide right through. These Reapers are very, very slippery, so very hard to catch them. I'm sure all Reapers bathe in motor oil to be so slippery. Alright, so we look at Dream side of the base. Once again, going for that early CC. And right now, I think he's gonna pretty much get away with it. There's really not much that indicates to me that Solar is going for a all-out attack. It seems like he is gonna go ahead and just macro up. He does got 2 drones pulled off of gas, so using them to kind of help mine those minerals a bit quicker. And Dream, on the other hand, actually opened up with a Cloak Banshee play. Now, there is no... Oh, actually, never mind. I was about to say there wasn't any Overlord here, but actually there is a single Overlord here. We'll be able to spot this. Now, will Dream cancel the Cloak? That's the question. We've seen some Terran players, once they get scattered out, either commit to the Banshee play with the Cloak, or they cancel it. In the meantime, though, there is a Hellion pressure here onto the dirt base. Won't get too much done. Overlord has been cleaned up. Looks like Dream is going to go ahead and continue on with the Cloak play. And the thing about Cloak Banshees are, or actually just Banshees in general, even without Cloak, is that even though they get spotted by the Zerg, they somehow, some way, always manages to find some sort of damage. So even though he gets scouted, he can still find some drones to kill, to kind of catch. Oh, nice catch there though by Dream. Does prevent the Ling run by, as well as get some nice pot shots. All right, Banshees has joined up with the Hellion forces. Cloak has finished. Solar actually going for a kind of a Ling counterattack. Unfortunately for him, though, there there is no SCVs to catch here. Unfortunately, but there are some drones here to catch for these Banshees. Getting 3 drones already. Can he get a 5th right now? Does not get a 5th, but 4 drones, not too bad. At least that's something. Once again, Dream able to kind of intercept a pack of Lings running out in the middle. But Solar, though, he is about to pop up that Spire here. 7 Mulas immediately on the production tab. Now, luckily for him, Dream is not looking to go ahead and attack anytime soon. Looks like he's trying to establish his dirt base, secure it, stabilize it. So these Mulas can actually possibly get some nice damage done. Did he get scouted? Did the Spire get scouted? Let's go ahead and check just to make sure. Did it get scouted? Nope. Nope, did not get scouted. So yeah, some nice damage can possibly be done by these Mulas once it goes across the map. Right now, there's no turrets. I don't believe. Yeah, no turrets here into the bases of a Solar, or Dream rather. Excuse me. Oh, some nice juicy SCVs, but Dream going for a little bit of an attack here. Does get shut down relatively easily, as there are more than enough Lings and Banelings. But these Beetles still doing damage here into the main base. Unfortunately for Dream, because he flew or created his dirt base down into the into this area, the Mulas are going to be able to kind of fly back and forth relatively easily. Now imagine if Dream built his dirt CC in, or not built, but flew his dirt CC down to this 6 o'clock base. These Mulas would probably be a bit easier to deal with, because of course you can kind of zone them out here and here. But it's when trying to zone out into the main base, into this base, you know, you got to travel all the way here. It's a long road for these Marines, so a bit tougher. But Dream does finally get all his turrets up. He got some Marines parked into some nice, parked relatively well between his bases. But these Mulas, their numbers are getting high. Right now, 13 out in the field, while there are more in the production. So Dream's gonna have to be careful, because once Solar gets to the optimal amount of Mulas, it gets pretty annoying to deal with. Basically, Mulas in numbers, in high numbers, can just kind of one-shot or two-shot turrets very quickly. So he's going to have to make sure to not suffer too much economic damage from these Mulas. Now, on the other side, though, Dream looking to kind of go for a some economic harassment for himself. Will manage to slide in here, sneak these 2 Banshees onto the backside, forcing the Mulas to kind of fly back here to clean them up. But once cleaned up, Solar can feel free to just fly his Mulas across the map and continue harassing Dream here. Now, Dream smartly has actually done up some sensor towers, so really smart play coming out Dream. Now, these sensor towers are going to provide vision of where these Mulas are going to fly in from, so he can better position his Marines in place to help defend. Alright, a pack of lings will catch a few Marines out here in the middle of nowhere. Now, look at the map, the mini map, all covered in a bluish purple. Already, things are looking much better here in game number 5 for our blue Zerg. The creep spread is very, very well spread. It's now Solar on the offensive end. He's the one dictating the pace of this game. And here we go. Looks like Solar want to go ahead and attack. But he's got to be careful not to extend all the way into the creep. Alright, let's see. Units lost tab. So far, it's pretty even here on both sides. But of course, the glaring thing is the worker count that I see right now. 90 for Solar, guys. 90. That is a lot of drones compared to the 67 of a Dream. So, pretty much Solar enjoying a healthy economy. As you can see in the income graphs tab, pretty much all blue. There are some little spikes of red. That's mainly from the mules being thrown down, I'm assuming. Because Solar has been ahead pretty much in the worker count throughout this whole game. But overall, yeah, nice economy rolling here for Solar. So if he wanted to, he can pretty much get some nice, or get some a few inefficient trades. But he's got to be careful because, yeah, he has a lot of mineral banked up, but not a lot in gas. The gas bank is not quite as high, so he's got to be careful not to get too much inefficient trades. Does clean up the army here onto the left side. Gonna force Dream to kind of retreat back at home with the rest of his army. That's gonna go ahead and open up the opening here for the right side for these Lings and Banelings, and not a lot here to defend. These Banelings are gonna go ahead and roll into the mineral line. Will it focus fire on the command center, on the planetary? Looks like he's gonna go actually focus the Banelings onto the units instead. Doesn't quite get the planetary, unfortunately. Here there is another skirmish onto the left side. Solar will be able to clean that up relatively easily, as it was on creep. The fight was on creep, so but slowly but surely, Solar has teched up 2 Ultralist tech. That is definitely going to help kind of tank in some of the damage here into the front lines, while the rest of the Mulists and Bandits can get on top of the rest of the army. But Dream doing a nice little pre-spread, keeping his Thors at the back as well. Now, this is not the entire army of Solar. He does have a few Mulists into the 6 o'clock base. Does get some nice SCV kills, furthering diminishing the worker count of Dream down to a 56. Both players on 3-3 upgrades. Of course, the Solar does have that +2 air weapons attack. And Dream gonna go ahead and siege up this position here. He does have some nice Liberators and Marauders to help deal with these Ultralists, so I like that. But does Solar have enough? It looks like he is gonna go ahead and test the waters here. And yep, it is a huge cleanup here for the Zerg, looking to clean up the rest of Dream's army, and Solar will get his finally get his first points on the scoreboard. Finally, he does not get swept here in this Alpha Pro Series number 227. So well done there by Solar. He keeps his hopes alive here. Now it's going to be up to Dream for the first time to choose his map of choice. Alright, looks like we're headed into Submarine. That kind of leaves Jagannatha as our last map, so... So we'll see if Jagannatha is played. Of course, Dream is still on match points. He is up 4-1. So we might, again, potentially have our last game here in this upcoming match. But if Solar can somehow manage to get another win, start a little bit of a streak here, we might have ourselves a closer series. Alright, let's go ahead and get this started. Here, spawning at the bottom right corner of the map. Playing for Kaizi Gaming. Hailing from Korea. Make some noise for Solar. And spawning here at the top left corner of the map. He's the red Terran player. Playing for Good Game Gaming. It is Dream. Now, of course, Good Game Gaming, one of the newer teams here that has been formed. Of course, Dream was previously from Brave Star Gaming, but at the start of December, a lot of teams disbanded. Of course, most known is Janair Green Wings that disbanded. Brave Star Gaming as well. So players like Dream as well as Patience did actually move over to Good Game Gaming. Cyan, also one of the Chinese players, did also get signed up by Good Game Gaming. If you guys don't know who Cyan is, he is a Chinese player. Time is probably the most formidable, most known Chinese player, but behind him, I feel like it's Cyan. It's probably considered the second best Chinese player. But anyhow, Good Game Gaming signing all those three players at the beginning of December, and here we are. Dream once again throwing down a bunker. This time around, there's no proxies though. This is either to mind game Solar into thinking that there is a proxy somewhere, but that will be proven to be useless, as that does get Solar does get to cancel. Reaper will be making his way into the natural. Let's see if he can get this drone. This drone just barely surviving. Some good micro from both players. All right, so one thing about this map, Submarine, is that of course one of the smaller maps. Kind of tends to favor players that are a bit more aggressive, because of course you can kind of push your army across the map relatively earlier compared to other maps. So we'll see if either player go for a bit of more aggression compared to previous games, or if they're content to just macro it out. But in general, I feel like this is a little bit better map for Terrans, just because of the kind of the rocks and kind of the areas where Terrans can kind of siege up and park up their tanks. So it's going to be important for Solar to clear up these rocks, make sure they're not in the way. Of course, without the rocks, that kind of gives the Zerg player a better way to engage the army of the Terran, get a bit more surface area, more pathway to get this around. And then on the other hand, we have Solar that is going to be really important to spread his creep through the center, especially. Not only can army push across the map relatively earlier, but also the creep. Just because of, again, the smaller map. The creep doesn't take as long to spread to your opponent's base. But in the meantime, we do see that Dream is making some Hellions. He's gonna have, so it's gonna have some Hellions to deal with. No armory though, so they're not gonna be turning into Hellbats, which we see a lot of Terran players actually go for that Hellbat, Hellbat timing. Maybe alongside a Liberator in the backside, or maybe some Banshees as well, or some Marines. Alright, looks like Dream is going to go ahead and start establishing his dirt base. In the meantime, he's going to keep the Zerg busy here with these Hellions. Now, these Hellions are actually doing a pretty decent job clearing out these creep through the middle. Doesn't quite get the 2 here, but the earlier 2 he did get. Pretty good job. Just want to go ahead and recess the creep as much as possible. The one thing I think about Hellions is that not only can they keep the pressure up in terms of killing workers, but they can also clear up creep tumors. Dream once again trying to find some creeps to clear out. But Solar with these queens will be able to protect them. Also, the good thing about creep is, the one good thing about having a lot of queens is not only can they defend against the Hellions, but they can also have a bit more energy to throw down those creep tumors, to transfuse, to spawn those larvas. Alright, looks like Dream is getting ready for a attack here soon. Now, I'm a little bit concerned because there's only 1 tank in this army. I feel like you want to have at least 3 before attacking. At the very least, the second tank is lagging behind a bit. It will join up with the rest of the army, but this is actually a pretty nice position here. Oh wait, he does have a vision though with the Overlord, so. But with these transfuse though, gonna keep a lot of these queens alive. In the meantime, these lings are trying to get this around. Can he get this around? He does get this around. These, oh no, some of the banelings hit the tank instead. But he at least cleared up the rest of the army. I'm guessing he probably should have, or he kind of miscontrolled there, because some of the banelings, half of the banelings were actually attacking the Marines, but half of them went into the tank. You never want to trade banelings with tanks. Not the best. You want to trade them with the Marines and the Hellbats, as they are the light units, and banelings do the brunt of their damage to light units. Okay, nice job there though. Does refocus these banelings into the bio, into the Marine line. These queens here though, just chilling out of nowhere. Continue to spread the creep to the right side. Alright, so far I feel like Solar has been getting the better end of these trades here. But the thing about Dream is that he is pretty relentless. He can keep attacking at different areas, put on the pressure on Zerg to hopefully force him to make a mistake. And it's still not over yet. It's still 4 bases to 3. Workers are relatively healthy for both players. The thing is though, Solar has been stuck on Ling and Baneling for the longest time, and that's because he's actually invested into Hydra's lurker tech. And once those lurkers are out, it gets much more difficult for the Terran to deal with it. you're gonna have to get some liberators, or you're gonna have to get some tanks, some more tanks to deal with them. And he probably needs to pull the Zerg left and right, because the thing about lurkers is sometimes you usually see the Zerg player kind of group up their lurkers into one army control group, or at least two. So you can kind of multi-prong attack. You kind of have to force the Zerg player to kind of leave some lurkers in maybe in each base or something, or each area. But anyhow, we do see that Vipers are on the way as well. So lurkers, Vipers, that combination is so strong. Of course, in the history of Zerg, the Brood Lords and Infestor combination has been a staple in Zerg play. Not so much in the recent years compared to, like, maybe say Wings of Liberties and Heart of the Swarm, but still Brood Lords and Infestors are pretty strong. But it seems like kind of the meta has shifted to kind of Vipers and Lurkers. That combination is pretty strong as well. So let's see if Dream can somehow manage to find some way to deal with the Lurkers. I've seen so many Terrans, not in just Alpha X events, but in all events and tournaments, having a bit of trouble dealing with the Lurkers. A few months back, Raynor, of course, kind of stating how great Lurkers are. He was so confident in ZVT, mainly because of how great Lurkers were. Just so efficient. They got splash damage. You can, of course, research the Lurker range as well as the Lurker burrow for them to burrow quicker. They just have so much damage output. You can, of course, hold position on them and wait for the Terran to get on top of your Lurkers, and then just attack and kill all their Marines that way. A lot of potential that can come out of Lurker play. Alright, looks like we're heading into the 12-minute mark, and it seems like we're heading into the later stages of this game. We might have a game where all the bases are taken. The only one that hasn't been taken yet is that 1 o'clock or so position. But the majority of the bases has been taken. Now we do have a kind of a point of contention here onto the left side, as Dream is trying to take this command center, trying to turn that into a planetary. But Solar will force the lift off. Lurkers come in here to join up with the fight. They get on top of the tanks, but oh man, it's going to be close. There are still a lot of tanks here on the back. The Liberators can probably move a bit forward. This is going to go ahead and force Solar to retreat for the time being. Going to give some time for Dream to go ahead and put up the planetary, put some extra defenses with these turrets, as well as a sensor tower. So Dream manages to hold that bottom base there. Solar trying to find the opening here through the top as well as the middle. Now these Lings not quite as strong, but he does have enough in numbers. I believe. Wait, let's see here. Okay, he does have adrenal glands, I believe. Yep. All right. We're about to head into 14-minute mark, and so far, both players holding still, holding strong. Looks like Solar, though, is trying to break this base here on the bottom side. It's a freshly established base, but looking at the army, doesn't quite look like the army you would want at this stage. Still relying on Ling and Bailings. Doesn't have a lot of Lurkers, doesn't have a lot of Hydralisks, has a lot of Corruptors though. We might actually see them turn into broodlords at some point. But Dream, once again, keeping up with the pressure here. Nice little transfuse, but not quite enough to save that hatchery. Well, so Dream does get a nice little pick off. But the creep has spread so far into Dream's side of the map that at this point, he is going to really need to kind of fly his medevacs around the outskirts of the edges in order to kind of harass these bases. All right, we see, of course, Dream establishing his defenses here, getting those Liberators siege up into the middle, getting those tanks as well. Really hard to break Dream right now, and Solar's gonna definitely need some other type of units. He doesn't have. Let's see here, the units tab here. 3 Hydralisks, 1 Lurker. That is a pretty poor army, I gotta say. Now, the thing is, he does have a lot of resources still. He is maxed out, so he's right now, like, a lot of the income that he's mining right now is into the bank. Oh, what are you doing, Solar? Oh, a miss move there. Losing all those corruptors. So unfortunate for Solar. And right now he's gonna have to remake all those corruptors. Man, I'm sure he would have loved to save all those gases for turning them into broodlords. A huge blunder there. Once again, going for that nuke. Oh my god, will he get it in time? Will he get it in time? Oh, just barely. Just barely. And now, of course, with the extra command centers, with the extra orbitals, Dream will have the energy to start scanning and clearing out these creep tumors. I actually get one of the hatcheries, so nice little pick off there as well. And right now, Solar is just kind of scrambling around with his tier 1 units. These Lings and Banelings not gonna be kind of the stronghold of his army here. Dream once again finding an opening onto the bottom side. And once again, Dream taking out these hatcheries. Another nuke going down here for Dream. This time around, Dream, or Solar rather, will be able to spot that relatively soon. We'll evacuate and flee those drones just in time, but 20 workers going down from this attack. Things are not looking quite well for Solar. Remember, he is on match points. If he loses his game, he loses the series, so he needs to somehow, some way pull a win out of this game here on the submarine. But Dream just so relentless, even feeling confident enough to just sack his workers, as he is on 70 workers. He does have more than enough orbitals to throw down those mules and rely on those mules, freeing up the supply here for some extra army supply. Now the army supply is relatively even though. Now let's take a look at the weapons or the upgrades here. Pretty even on the upgrades as well, but looks like Solar has elected not to commit to the +3 range attack. And to be fair, he doesn't really have a lot of lurkers or hydralisks to make use of that +3 range attack, so I actually don't mind him skipping on that. Right now he is using the gas to invest into these broodlords. He's trying to, oh wow, he's trying to create that broodlord infestor army, but with so little broodlords, these ghosts can pretty much snipe them. Banelings are going to go ahead and roll in here, but there's so much tanks and livers in the back that clears it up. Solar is forced to move back. Now, maybe 12 Broodlords is scary, but 4 is not that quite scary, especially since these infestors don't have a lot of energy. Solar's got to be careful. I would love to see him just kind of retreat back for now, kind of replenish those infestor energy, get some more Broodlords, which it looks like he's finally going to be able to do so. Yeah, these infestors really need some more energy for him before he can engage here effectively. Oh man, no. Oh my god, no Overseer. These ghosts are going to go ahead and take out some of these Broodlords, and also getting a really critical EMP on that clump of infestors. And right now, once again, Solar is going to have to replenish those energy once more. That's going to take a bit of time. In the meantime, Dream is going to go ahead and take this 12 to 1 o'clock base here. Solar doesn't want him to take it, so he's going to go ahead and try to commit and try to clean this out, but Dream just has so much on the ground here. And yeah, I don't see Solar being able to break this. And GG Dream with a dominant 5-1 victory over Solar, and will take this series.